The grand stage of the International Culinary Masters competition was dazzling. Glass chandeliers, cameras flashing, and tables lined with exotic ingredients sourced from every corner of the world. Chefs with years of training, stars on their jackets, and names etched in gourmet magazines strutted like royalty. And in the middle of them all stood a woman in a faded apron, holding a wooden spoon like it was a sword. She didn't belong there. Or so they thought. Whispers followed her like smoke. She's not a chef, she's a cook. Where's her team? What is she doing here? And then came the laugh, a sharp, arrogant sound that echoed across the kitchen arena. A celebrity chef, known globally for his high-end restaurants and relentless arrogance, sauntered past her booth. He glanced at her setup, simple clay bowls, old handwritten recipe cards, a few humble ingredients like lentils, turmeric, and rice, and scoffed openly. "Is this a joke?" he said, loud enough for the cameras. "What are you making, comfort food for ghosts?" She looked up. Her face was calm. No makeup. No fancy chef's hat. Just tired eyes that had seen too much and hands that had cooked through storms. She didn't answer him. She simply stirred her pot gently, letting the aroma rise like a quiet rebellion. What no one knew was that this woman had once owned a thriving street food stall in a forgotten corner of the city. Before the recession, before the fire, before she lost her home and ended up cooking in shelters to feed those who had less than nothing. Each time, her food gave people a moment of dignity, a bite of warmth, a taste of memory. She never advertised, never sought fame. But someone had tasted her food one rainy night and left her a note. This belongs on a world stage. Now here she was, standing beside million-dollar egos with nothing but her grandmother's recipe and a cast-iron pan. The competition began. Knives flashed. Timers beeped. Ingredients flew through the air. The celebrity chef crafted an avant-garde fusion dish using imported truffles, rare sea urchin, and molecular gastronomy. Reporters crowded his station. Cameras zoomed in as he smirked for every flash. At her booth, things were quieter. She didn't rush. She didn't shout orders. She worked with focus, her movements measured like a ceremony. Every spice she added wasn't just for flavor. It was for memory, for healing, for the mother who taught her to cook over open fire in a tin-roof kitchen. By the time judging began, the audience had already chosen their winner. The chef, of course. He was the face of the event, the reason half the viewers were even watching. When the judges approached his plate, he delivered a speech longer than the recipe. They nodded, impressed. It looked like art. Then they came to her. She offered a small clay bowl, a modest lentil stew with basmati rice, a splash of tamarind, and fresh herbs. There was no garnish, no fanfare. Just a scent so rich and soulful that one judge paused before tasting. They dipped their spoons in. Silence. Then one judge closed his eyes. Another lowered his spoon slowly, visibly moved. "What is this?" one whispered. She replied quietly, "My grandmother's kitchen." In every bite. They didn't speak further. They just walked away, stunned. Hours passed. Scores were tallied. The host stepped up, trying to keep his tone neutral. And the winner of this year's Culinary Masters, by unanimous vote, is... Gasps. The celebrity chef's jaw tightened. The lentil stew. Cameras spun. The audience was frozen. The woman's hands trembled slightly, but she said nothing. The chef stormed off, muttering about conspiracy and flavorless peasant food. But the world had already changed. The clip went viral. Celebrity chef mocked simple woman. Then she beat him with a lentil dish. Comment sections exploded. "This made me cry. Reminds me of my grandma's cooking. Food is love, not ego." The hashtag humble heat began trending. But the real twist came weeks later. A leaked internal memo revealed that a major culinary investment firm had signed a quiet contract with her months before the contest, funding her to start a line of community kitchens across the country. Affordable, healing food cooked by people who had once been overlooked just like her. She had entered the contest not to win, but to make the world notice what truly mattered. And the celebrity chef? His restaurants saw a sharp decline. Not because his food wasn't good, but because the world was no longer hungry for arrogance. She never claimed the spotlight. She refused TV deals. She used the prize money to build mobile kitchens in disaster zones, refugee camps, and food deserts. Places where the only thing more rare than ingredients was hope. Once, when asked why she turned down a book deal, she replied simply, "Some recipes aren't meant to be written, they're meant to be shared." And somewhere, in the backstreets of a city that forgot her, the scent of lentils still floats in the wind. Feeding souls. Changing lives. Quietly. Powerfully. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable flavors come from the people the world never sees, until they serve something that can't be ignored.